Hi, this is alancosens. Earlier today, somebody sent me a text message, and they actually asked me something to the effect of, why is your opportunity better? Like, why should I join you? There's a lot of things out there. And they said, I'm not trying to be negative, but like, what. And I thought that was a good question, actually, because it's an illustration of the fact that a lot of people just don't really know what they're looking at. Like, they don't know how to evaluate the different opportunities that are out there. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the people selling these opportunities, some of them are very good. Some of them are very convincing in terms of their ability to get you to be impressed. Some of them will send you screenshots of income proof and whatnot, and those are completely irrelevant to you. You have no idea what the circumstances were behind them. But there are actually specific criteria I look at. It wasn't that long ago I did a live training about this, and there were 23 of them, and I went through them, and I'll be darned if I can't find the thing at the moment. So I thought I'd just record another as brief as I can. I do this as briefly as I can and as respectfully as I can. There are certain criteria that you should be looking at when you're evaluating to start a home business. And they're not opinions. They're not. It's not about how you feel. It's kind of like if you're looking at a sports contest, like a football game or a basketball game or something. Some people root or they think the team is the best because they're from the same town, or sometimes people want one team to win because they like the color of their uniforms better. I mean, there's how do I feel about it? And so the first thing is it doesn't have anything to do with feeling. Like, emotion has no part in it. It has to do with certain criteria and meeting certain criteria. And I'm not going to be able, for me to take the time to go through everything and fully educate you on how to do all this and everything you need to look at and all the ramifications, it would just take too long. Okay. I've been doing this 21 years. For 21 years, I've been building home businesses, showing people how to start and build home businesses. I built over a dozen companies. And a lot of this, the learning experience comes from disaster, comes from things going wrong. And you figure out at one point that there are certain things you need to look at in order to weed an opportunity in or out. And they're very objective. And I don't know if I'm going to hit on all 23 or 24 of them in this, but let's just talk about this a little bit. So the first thing that I look at is I look at product. So in the world of network and affiliate marketing, there are probably tens of thousands of different products, if not hundreds of thousands of different products. And most of the time, in a typical network marketing company, what you have is you have a very exceedingly high quality product that is exceedingly priced. And the public, the prospect base, the market that you're marketing to, doesn't understand that it is an exceedingly high quality product. Now, I'm talking here mostly of nutritional type products, because that is, in fact, what most companies in this profession market. And whether that's an essential oil or a vitamin and mineral or some sort of super juice, they all fall into that category. And almost without exception, they are things which require a tremendous amount of education and enlightenment for the prospect, so they can even get to the point where it's real to them that they have the slightest idea that they should be taking that product. 2-hour presentations, 3-hour presentations, 5 days worth of webinars, each webinar with a different scientist on it. And a lot of the time, they still won't buy unless they have some sort of specific health issue that's giving them trouble, that's a problem for them, if they think that product might help that. However, you, as the salesperson, are not allowed to tell them that it would help them with that, because that's a violation of FDA regulations. So we've touched on a number of things all in this one passage, haven't we? I don't want to have a product that takes me 3 hours of explaining and convincing and pushing and persuading, where I have to make sure the person has 2 hours available to learn about it, where I have to assume that the person has the ability to assimilate the data so that they will understand it. It's just too hard. Now, I've built companies like that. I've done the 3-hour-long presentations. It's too hard. People can't do it. So the product has to be something that, one, takes no time to explain, and two, is demonstrable, and three, is something that people already want. Takes no time to explain, is demonstrable, and is something people already want. You see, if you have to create the need or the want and then fill it, you're already shooting yourself in the foot. It's just way too hard. The average person can't do it. You have to be a tremendous, tremendous salesperson. You have to be willing to confront huge amounts of rejection in high number. You have to be willing to confront people not understanding, dealing with people you think are stupid because they don't understand it, which isn't really the case, but it's just too much information all at one time. It's not real to them. You take a 50-year-old person who's never taken nutritional supplements in their life, and all of a sudden you come along and you take 2 or 3 hours of their life to convince them why they need to be taking nutritional supplements, and then you still have to deal with, why can't I just go to the grocery store and get my one-a-days for $12? I could spend $12, $25 a month instead of spending $240 with you. So you got a whole another level of problem, which is a price problem. People can't afford it. So that would be the fourth thing. The product needs to be affordable for everyone. So I have to be able to explain it very quickly. Ours we can explain in 10 seconds. It's TV. Everybody knows what TV is. I don't have to explain that. It's 8,000 channels, right? It's 100 times more channels than you have. It's 50 times more channels than you have now, better quality for 1/4 of what you're already paying. Done. There's no enlightenment process. I don't have to ask them to come over for a coffee party and then trick them into viewing a 2-hour presentation so they never want to deal with me again. So that's the first things I would look at would be the product. Product has to be demonstrable. If they have to believe what the benefits of the product are, then whether or not I make sales depends on whether people believe me. And no offense to anybody, but if you're depending on people you know or believing you, people you don't know sure as hell aren't going to believe you. You're really making it tough on yourself. I mean, almost impossible. The average person starting out in a business like this does not have the commitment and tenacity to push through dealing with 100 to 200 people to get a single sale. With our product, they don't have to believe anything. They can just try it, see for themselves. I tell them, don't believe me. Doesn't matter what I think. Just try it. If you don't love it, don't get it. You don't love it, I'm not going to bug you about it. What do you got to lose? You don't even have to put payment information in. There's no risk for them. Perhaps that would be the fifth item, no risk to the consumer. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody pays for anything they don't love. Nobody has to believe me. They can see it for themselves. That's how you convince people, by the way. You let them look, and they make their own decision. It doesn't take any time to explain. It's affordable for everyone because 9 out of 10 people that we talk to are already paying 3, 4, 5, 6 times more for their cable TV or satellite, and they have 1/10 or 1/20th or 1/50th the number of channels. And they don't have all the movie channels, and they don't have all the kids channels, and they don't have the pay-per-views and all this stuff. Not only is it affordable, but 90% of the people who purchase our service save more money. In other words, it's money back in their pocket. We give them more channels, and they have more money as a result. It doesn't cost, it pays. Just those right there weed out 99.9% of the opportunities out there. Just those right there is the difference between the average person who's never done anything like this before, winning and getting results, and that's exactly what we see. I've had people who've been in business with me for years and years and years through different opportunities who've never made a single sale, but they keep trying, and they come in here and they share it with a few friends, and boom, 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 they got customers. Why? Because they don't have to explain it. They know what TV is. They're already paying more for something that's worse. They can see it for themselves, and it's not only affordable, but it puts more money back in their pocket. Just that right there should be enough. If you're an observant person and you're looking at, what am I going to have to do to make this business grow? What do you have to do? You have to acquire customers, don't you? Well, how are you going to do that? Well, we're going to coordinate. We're going to trick them, and then we're going to waste 3 hours of their time telling them all about how our scientists can beat up all the other scientists and how our super juice comes from the remote villages of China up in the mountains where everybody lives to be this age, but they have to believe everything in order to do it, and it's going to cost them $200, $300 a month. Man, talk about making it tough on yourself, guys. I am like awesome at doing this, and I don't want to do that. It's just too hard. I want to be able to talk to 3 or 4 people and have a sale. And I can do it with this because I don't have to sell. All I got to do is ask them, hey, what are you paying for cable? $150? Dang. Would it be all right if I put $110 a month back in your pocket starting today? What do you mean? Well, I mean, would it be okay if I did that? Sure. How are you going to do it? That's an excellent question. Here, watch this 2-minute video. I don't even have to explain it. And they get it like that. You can have way more channels for way less money, or you can keep flushing money down the toilet and have less channels. Which one you want? I mean, it's like, where's the comparison on this? So that's product-based, 5 items on product. Hope you noted those down. You can apply this as you look. We also have things related to trend. And this is also product-based, but it's in a little different flavor, I suppose. You want to look for things that are trending. Back in 1998, 99, 2000, 2001, we had a tremendous amount of success, and what we were doing was we're putting people online. At that time, when I started in 1998, less than half the population where I lived was online, and mostly it was because they couldn't afford computers or didn't want to spend money on a computer just to get online, and most of them didn't really even understand what the internet was. But that was a mega trend. Now, if you think about how many people you know who don't have the internet at their house, it's almost zero, probably less than 1%. But at that time, it was only about 40-45% of the people who had internet. And a lot of them only just had it at work and they didn't have it at home, but they wanted it. So we showed up with a little set-top box we connected to their TV, and it gave them internet on their TV. It plugged right into their phone jack. Took a splitter, plugged it in their phone jack, and they had internet on their TV. It was great. We'd go out and do 5 presentations, and we'd get 5 sales. It was a piece of cake. Why? Because we had something that they already wanted. We already knew that they wanted it, not because they were already buying it, but because of the mega trend. We just stepped into the trend. It's kind of like you have a rushing rapid in the Colorado River. And you can jump in there and swim with the stream and go really fast, or you can try to swim against it and just get drowned. Find a trend. Hop on it. We are right now at the hockey stick upswing of the streaming TV trend. Even though it's been around for 10 years, it's just now going into momentum. You see it everywhere. Cut the cord. Even on cable, they're showing commercials for cut the cord. There are hundreds of streaming companies. In 2018, over 30 million people in the U.S. moved from cable and satellite to streaming TV. In the world, there are about 780 million people still paying for digital cable or paid satellite. That's still going up every year. Why? Because a lot of countries, they're just now getting the infrastructure for cable TV. They haven't even had the infrastructure. They don't even have internet infrastructure. The size of this market is so incomprehensibly huge. I mean, over the next 10 years, you're going to see, another 2, 3, 400 million people on cable. And you're going to see hundreds of millions of people who've switched to streaming. You're right at the beginning of a trend. You're right in the very beginning. It's just starting to take off. That makes things a million times easier. Now, these should be obvious things if you just look at them. Now, the other thing we need to look at is how do we compare to competitors in our space, in our niche. There are hundreds of streaming companies, hundreds. Sometimes people start with our group and they go, a week out, they go, oh my God, someone showed me this other thing, and should I worry about it? Why? Do you think Coke worries that there's Pepsi and RC Cola? I mean, it's a relatively free market. It's not a free market, but you can create new products still. There are hundreds of them. 90% of them are illegal. They don't have permissions. It's just some D-bag in his basement pirating satellite feeds and selling them. They're going to go away. They're going to get shut down. Of the maybe 10% that are legal, I only know of one that's decently run, that's well run with people who know what they're doing, who've been paying on time every time for 20 years, who have correct reporting, who have good support, who are Johnny on the spot with fixing any problems or challenges that may arise, who are focused on giving the customer a great experience, who are focused on making the stream itself play really well without freezing and buffering, who are focused on continually expanding it and making it better, who are focused on paying people like us on time, who have a long-term vision, who we know we can depend on because they have a 20-year track record of paying. Now, I should point out that before working with IXQ, I was working with another company, and I was the #1 income producer. And if you want to see that data and the event where I was announced as that and all that, so you know I'm not fibbing you, I'm welcome. I'm happy to get that to you, but I'm not going to go through all that in this presentation. My very first month that they launched using this streaming TV concept, I made over $20,000 in commission the very first month. It was the biggest month I ever had in any company I've ever worked with. First month. The biggest first month. Not the biggest month, but the biggest first month for a launch. Why? The reason why is because of all the reasons I've covered with you already. The streaming TV concept. It's an easy sale. How did I accomplish that? I acquired 8 new trial users every day for 30 days. 8. That's it. So, again, the trend, what do people want? We're saving them money. It's easy to explain. They don't have to believe us. It's demonstrable. All these things factor in. But that company was probably the worst run company in the history of Earth of companies since companies have existed. The reporting was always incorrect. Commissions would disappear with no accounting, despite dozens and dozens of requests to account for the money that disappeared. You never get an answer. Offers were made for different bonuses that were never paid and will not be paid. They've committed fraud. Their service has gone very terrible. It doesn't play well. It buffers. The owner has no desire to put any more money into fixing it, and he keeps making all these changes to the comp plan, trying to attract marketers with a product that doesn't work well for the customer, and you've got like a 4% retention rate. You put them on a trial, 100 people, only 4 of them stick, and then they end up complaining most of the time, and they're only there because they're trying to make money. It's called an overt product. The customer's not happy with it. When a guy tries the service and it buffers and freezes and buffers and freezes, they don't continue. Well, that company doesn't seem to care about the customer. All they care about is having the best comp plan, which is completely irrelevant. You have better than a 4% retention rate selling vitamins. Oh, yeah, they come in and do trials like crazy. They don't stick. Unless they came in with $500, $1,200, $5,000 to become a distributor. Then they just pay for it so they're qualified, but they don't even watch the service. See, that's garbage. And I'm perfectly willing to give up a $20,000 a month income if the product isn't something people are happy with. People are happy with ours. Our streaming quality is better than all these other streaming companies. It's not even a contest. We have low bandwidth solutions. People with really terrible internet still have all their channels. I just don't get complaints about it. With the other company, continual complaints. I've tried a number of these companies. IXQtv, I couldn't even get it to play for 5 seconds without it freezing. So there's a number of these companies, though, in addition to the streaming quality, which we are the best with the streaming quality, they have administrative issues, nightmares. I mean, not paying on time. I'm waiting on $6,000 that's never going to get paid from that previous company. Bonuses made, offers made to all my guys, never given. Commissions disappearing, checks bouncing, checks late, no reporting, you can't tell what you're owed, constantly changing the comp plan around, legal trouble, changing company names to avoid legal trouble. The average person doesn't think about stuff like this. Well, you start thinking about it the first time you spend 6 months busting your butt to build a company, and then something happens and they close down. Then you start looking at, well, like, who owns this thing and how long they've been doing it, and are they paying people, and what's other people's experiences? That's what I kept hearing when I was looking into it. Yeah, they pay on time every time. Facebook posts up, paying on time every time. Once again. Another thing a lot of people don't understand, just to get a payment processor. If you've never had a business and you try to get a payment processor, that process, how much do you expect to run each month? Oh, $5,000. Okay, good. You're set up for $5,000. You do $5,000 the first month, $5,000 the second month. Third month, you do $9,000. No more payment processor. Why? Because you've gone over your expected volume and something's probably wrong there. What's your price point? Oh, it's $200. You run 200, 200, 200, 200. Then you decide to put a new product in, and it's 500. You run a couple $500 transactions. No more payment processor. You're going along fine for 3 months, and all of a sudden, in month 4, you have 6 or 7 people do chargebacks. No more payment processor. You're running $20,000 a month. 21,000 a month, 20,000, 22, 22,000, 20,000, 21,000. Then you have a big bonus special, and the next month you run 55,000 through your account. You go, yay, we're affluent. And they go, oh, your account's closed. Why? Oh, your sales volume spiked too rapidly. That's an indicator of fraud. This other company I mentioned, they've been through like 6 merchant processors, including PayPal. They can't keep one. Some of it's just the stupidity on the price points. $1,200 price point, a $5,000 price point. How many $5,000 chargebacks does it take before you lose your merchant account? Well, when you're in the network marketing niche and you have an intangible product, you're already super high risk. One $5,000 chargeback, and that's it. Your account's gone. Now we got to look at international payments. So again, some of these companies, they can only do business in the U.S. Why? Because that's who their payment processor serves. They can't serve anybody outside the country. I mean, these are basic fundamental things you need to know when you're looking for a business. Can I do business with people outside the USA? We can serve 192 countries. We can pay commissions in 192 countries. Hell, we can pay commissions anywhere because we can pay commissions in Bitcoin if they want. We can pay to Iran if need be, because you're just paying in Bitcoin. That's a workaround. But our e-wallet pays to 192 countries. The merchant processor, same merchant processor for 8 years, no issues. Great relationship. Sometimes running 7 figures a month through that merchant processor. We can't even spike the volume. We can have a big sale and increase our volume 30, 40,000 the next month, and it's hardly a blip on what's already being run through there. See, like the risk of losing our ability to process payments is almost zero. Whereas all these other ones, these new companies, some dude in his basement decided to outsource some third-party streams, and he's got, he's using PayPal, he's going to be, his PayPal account's going to get frozen, and so are all his funds. And he's not going to be able to pay you. He's not going to be able to afford to continue to service the customer, and he's going to be out of business. So that takes us to the next thing, capitalization. Are they undercapitalized? Just about every one of these other streaming companies is undercapitalized. They don't have any money. The only money they have is coming from people buying the service, buying in these high dollar distributor packs, front loading, which is not legal. It's just super high risk. Sometimes people reach out to me and go, well, I'm doing this one because it's better. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. Better how? What criteria are you looking at? And they never have an answer for me. Well, it's just better. Oh, it's better because that's what you're doing. Yeah, that's great. Good idea. Let's operate on feelings instead of facts. What else can we look at? Well, we can look at, first of all, for my team, I provide very exact training on exactly how to build this business. I show you exactly how to do this. I've been doing this 21 years. I have it down to a science. I give you the correct data. I don't give you theory. I give you the correct data on how to build the business. If you do what I show you to do, your business will grow, period. Hardly anybody else can say that. And I don't know anyone who's put together the level of quality and volume of training resources for their people that I have, and I pay them forward. So you offer them to your people. You just plug your people into the team training, the team Facebook group, the team webinars. We have 4 opportunity webinars live every week minimum that you can invite people to. We have a very specific, private, exclusive team training site where you have to register, and then you log in and you go through the stages and you learn how to do all this stuff. That saves you all the time of trying to teach people. Not that you know how to build a business like this anyway. You have to learn it first. What if you're just getting started and you bring in a new person? He's like, great, show me what to do. And you're like, I don't know what to do. You're my cousin Dwayne. I just talked to your cousin. How are you gonna help them build the business? You don't have to. You just plug them into us. You plug them into our team resources. We do an onboarding call with them. What are you looking to do here? Like, are you serious about it? I mean, is this like a, hope it works out type of thing? Are you serious about making a change here? Like, what's the deal? If you do what we show you to do, it will grow. It's very simple. It's not difficult, but you do have to do it. And you plug them into the training, and they follow that, and they get results. There's a lot of reasons, guys. That's one of the strongest ones. In terms of the business model itself, you got to be able to make a living. A lot of these deals, the way that they pay, the way that their pay plan is, they got breakaways and things like that, and they just keep you poor. I don't want to get into a whole training on MLM compensation plans, but some of them aren't very good. Some of them are really good. Our pay plan, the way that it's set up, technically, it doesn't matter how deep they are from you. If they're 100 levels down, their production is going to factor into your income. Now, you got to refer to the official company compensation plan document because I can't interpret that for you. But we got 6 ways we get paid. You get paid on the front end when you enroll a new customer. You get paid that right away. We have monthly. Our customers pay monthly every month. A $39 customer pays you $10 a month. A $59 business partner pays you $15 a month. So it doesn't take very long to build that up. We also get percentages, residuals on the entire organization. And we have matching bonuses, which means you get a percentage check match on what your people get for their residual check. So if you got 20 people and they're all making, say, $1,000 a month in their residual, that's $20,000. Well, you'd get 20 to 10% of that. So, an extra, $2,000 to $4,000 a month based on their check because they're part of your team. Why? So that you have an incentive to help them and keep them plugged in. We earn as a group. There's leadership bonuses, or every time you rank advance, you get money. There's lifestyle bonuses where once your organization hits 5,000 paying members, you get an extra $5,000 a month. When it hits 10,000 paying members, you get an extra $10,000 a month. When it hits 20,000 paying members, you get an extra $20,000 a month. But what does this all boil down to? If you think about the fundamental of what makes this all work, it's something that is missing in all these other companies, and that is a product that people want, that they're not buying just to qualify for the business, because that's what most of these nutritional companies do. They're not going to buy that on their own. They would never buy that. The only reason they're buying it is to qualify for their commissions, and they want to do the business. Then they have to convince themselves sort of half-heartedly that, oh yeah, that's a great deal. No, it's not a great deal. What's a great deal is when you have something people are already paying for and you give them way more for way less money. That's a great deal. Because even if someone comes in to build the business and they decide, I don't really want to build the business, they're still using the service. They're not going to go back to paying $150 or $200 a month for cable when they've got 8,000 channels for $39 a month or $59 a month. Hell, all they got to do is refer 4 to 6 other people, and their TV service is free. They don't even have to want to build the business. Great, you don't really want to build the business? No problems. You got awesome TV service. Tell you what, help us connect with 5, 6, 7, 8 people that you know, and we'll get your service for free. Once they get on, you get a commission. What's wrong with free TV, right? It's easy. It's simple. People can do it. And that's the other thing I look for. Can people do it? I know I can do it. Can you do it? Can that guy who's never done anything but pulled a lever and drilled some holes with a drill press at his job, and he's been doing that for 22 years, and then he got laid off, and now he needs something else to do? He's not super literate, and he's not super competent with a communication cycle. He certainly isn't a salesperson, and he's not a person who's apt to go out and make 50 or 100 new contacts a day like some insurance salesman would. Can that guy do it? Yes, that guy can do it. Why? Because the product is something people are already paying 3 to 4 times more to get. And we give them way more channels and way more options and better quality portability. They can watch it on any device. They can take their device with them to vacation in China, and they still have their TV. It's just a way better product, and that's the fundamental on it. If you don't have a product that people actually want and are willing to pay for just for the product, which is very rare in the network marketing profession, it's eventually all going to collapse. With this, you can literally just build a customer base and never have to build any other sub-affiliates or partners. I don't recommend that. What I recommend is the first week you go out and get 5 customers and 5 business partners. And we take those 5 business partners and we help them the first week get 5 customers and 5 business partners. Then we take those 25 and help them get 5 customers and 5 business partners. And in 3 months, we're rich. I have to refer you to an earnings disclosure because the government requires me to tell you that any examples I give may be exceptional, not typical. They're hypothetical examples. They're given for the sake of illustrating concepts, not for guaranteeing you income or even predicting what your income may be. For some reason, the government doesn't like it when people like me tell people like you that you can actually make money doing something regardless of whether it's true. So I have to tell you, it's a business, and like any other business, practicality dictates that your results will depend on how well you do in business. Now that we got that out of the way, you see there's certain things we look at. The other thing I look at, do I need to deal with shipping? Do I have to receive product, inventory it, right? Do I have to have a closet or a garage full of stuff? Do I have to distribute it? Nope, not here. I don't have to do any shipping. I don't have to do any deliveries. I don't have to worry about buying a whole bunch of it at one time and selling it all by a certain time. What's my overhead? My overhead is my monthly TV bill. It's cheaper than the TV bill I had before. I don't have any overhead. It's a low startup cost. I don't have to put in $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. Go open a McDonald's. It's $1 million, $1.5 million. You need 750 liquid even to qualify. This, you start a whole business for $59. It's cheaper than what your cable was. You essentially have a business that, even if you never do anything, you're already further ahead than when you started. Think about all the people you know. You go out, what are the chances that they are going to want to purchase vitamin supplements or a juice for $100, $200 a month. Now think about, they're already paying for cable or satellite. What are the chances they'd like to have an extra $50 or $100 or $150 a month back in their pocket and expand their channels to 8,000? What's the chances of that? You see, it's not even a comparison. Now, what we're going for here is recurring income, residual income. And again, if the customer doesn't want the product, residual recurring income, that's a problem because they have to stick. Well, how often do you think people cancel their TV? Sometimes they'll get in on a promotional deal with their cable company, and it'll be, say it's $129 a month for the first 12 months, and it goes to the normal rate. That might be $200 a month or $229 a month. And then what do? They cancel and they find another promotional deal, right? Well, none of those promotional deals are as low cost as what we have. We don't have any contracts. We don't have any credit checks. We don't have any activation fees. We don't have any cancellation fees. Like everything that's a problem, everything that's a risk has been removed. There's no reason for them to go anywhere else. So it's safe for the customer. They don't have to worry about their contract expiring and then getting surprised with a triple bill, a bill of a triple the amount they're used to paying. If they want to get it for free, great. Refer some friends. Get it for free. I mean, what could be an easier sale than 8,000 channels of HD TV for free? This is really, this term no-brainer is thrown around a lot in this industry. I mean, this is the no-brainer of no-brainers. This is the most ideal network marketing product that there is. People want it, and it's cheaper than what they're already paying. Now, it's not the only thing I market. I market other things. I have lots of online stuff. I sell traffic and leads and different automated marketing systems and things like that, and that's all great, but that's a very small niche market of people. And those just are not things that you can, go out and make a list of 100 people you've known and just call them up and say, hey, what are you paying for cable? You just can't do that. It's not a mass appeal product. With this, you can do that. Everybody is a prospect. I don't have to sift too much. I don't have to sell. So when I'm looking at it, I look at, can other people do this? Can people with no experience who suck at selling, can they do this? And they can. Can I automate that process? Can I make it codified? Like the kid who goes to work at McDonald's. Okay, you take the fries out of the bag, you dump them in the basket, you set the timer, you put the basket in the thing, the timer goes off, you take the basket out, you dump the fries in here, you take the salt, you salt the fries. Kid can learn how to do that in 2 minutes. There's no way to mess it up. Everything's very exact. Can we codify it? Yes, we can codify this. It's an exact series of questions. It's an exact approach. There's 7 exact steps. You follow the 7 steps every single time. You just keep running that, and people come in. Customers come in. New business partners come in. It's the same thing every single time. There's not really anything to think about. The reason we're able to do that is because the product is so mass appeal. And because we don't have to explain the product. Our people never, ever explain or persuade or present. We don't do that. We just have a little short video that does that. That's not what we do. All we do is contact, qualify, and invite people. If they never watch TV and they don't have cable and they don't want it, well, they don't qualify, do they? We're done. We move on to the next person. See, there's a lot of factors that depend upon each other. And we haven't even gotten into talking about, like, what's the long-term goal here with this recurring income? We want walk-away income is what we want. And some of you don't realize this, but once you get to a certain level of income, a certain level of cash set aside, you just don't really have money worries anymore because you always have a means by which to start up a new venture when needed. Your problem becomes, how do I make my money create more money? I can't just let it sit there in the bank. So just by default, if you're smart, you're already engaging upon starting up new things. And that's the first step. You've got to increase your income. You got to get your income to where you can live on 20% of your income, put away 40%, and give the government the other 40 that they take, or 45, whatever it is. If you can't do that, you're never going to get free ever. So how do we take the average person and put them in a position where they can do that? Can you do it without work? No, you cannot. I don't care what anyone tells you. You cannot do it without work. It is impossible. But the average person can do this. They can build it up into something significant. As a matter of fact, we have a... they just put this income calculator on here. Let me pull it up. Income calculator. Get it on the window here. So what we do is we work a 5 get 5 approach, okay? So I bring in 5 people, we help them bring in 5 people, we help them bring in 5 people. This is just the monthly commission for residuals. 4 levels down, $1,600 a month. 5 levels down, $8,000 a month. 6 levels down, $31,000 a month. 5 get 5 get 5 get 5. I'm not showing you this to predict your income. I'm showing you this to illustrate that a person can come in, make something very significant happen in 6 months or a year or 2 years, and then be in a position where they have enough that they just don't ever have to worry about money again because they have the means to start other ventures and so forth. Now, in an ideal situation, this movement from cable and satellite to streaming TV takes the next 10 to 15 years, and we end up with millions of people in our organization. Now, the idea here is to capture 0.5% of the market, just 0.5%. That's 3.9 million people according to current numbers. Well, I mean, that's not anywhere near this. This is like 1/10 of that. And look at what it turns into. You see? Now, comparing that to, for example, a typical network marketing opportunity where you're getting, 80 cents residual on your weaker leg, provided the volume is balanced out a certain way and it hasn't broken away. And, it's almost impossible to make money with those things. Most of those things are literally 5 years runway to get to a point where you can replace your job income. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. But I don't like it. I want something where you can come in a month and you can make an extra $900,000 a month. 2 months in, make an extra $2,000 or $3,000 a month or more. You come in here, you bust your butt for 90 days, you quit your job, you got a full-time business, and now the next month your income triples because you got more time to work on it. What makes it all work? A product that everybody wants. They're already paying for it. What do we have to do? We just find the people who are paying for cable or satellite, and we give them more TV, better TV for less money. We don't really have any competition because even with a service like Hulu, by the time you get 50 channels and add HBO and Showtime, you're at like $80 a month. That's double what we charge, and it's all included. There really isn't any contest. Now you take all this, and this isn't even all the criteria, but you take all this and you start comparing that with other things out there. First of all, a lot of these opportunities, they don't even have a product. They got some crappy PLR info product that nobody would ever buy ever unless they were part of the business. Well, that's not legal. I mean, technically it's legal because there is a product, but it's garbage. They're just buying it so they can qualify for the business. That's a pyramid scheme. I'm not interested in pyramid schemes. I'm interested in something that makes someone's life better. It gives them more entertainment, saves them some money. The other thing is, it's very easy to expand your network with a product like this. Who do you know who has cable? Hey, would you be willing to connect me with 5 people you know who have cable TV? Why? I want to see if I can save them some money. I'm just send them a quick text. See if they're open to it. No biggie. I mean, give me 10 people you know who have cable. I'm telling you, 5 of them are going to be so pleased. I'm going to save them $100 a month. There's never any end to it. Now, you go try and doing that with some terrible info product on email marketing, some online marketing system, some credit repair thing. And where do you end up? You end up with, you got to talk to 30, 40, 50 people, 100 people before you find a person who even qualifies for that. And then we got a problem, don't we? Because the average person doesn't have the tenacity and commitment to weed through all those people. I do, but maybe you don't. Does that mean this is going to be easy? Well, it's the easiest it's going to get. It's not going to get any easier to build a business. It's just not. But for you, just to show up to work every day may be nearly impossible without a boss telling you when to be there. So there's other reasons, guys, but really, once you understand what the product is, and then you understand that, I can't speak in absolutes, but I don't think there's another company that's doing streaming like we're doing that offers as much content, that also has admin and ownership, who do everything right, who are paying on time every time, who have been doing so for 20 years. The one thing you cannot know for sure in this profession, and I don't care who you talk to, I don't care if they're making $1 million a month and they've been doing this for 30 years, there is no way for you to know whether a company is going to be around long term. The closest you can get to that is to go join Amway or Melaleuca. Well, you want to talk about hard. I mean, these are great companies, but good grief. That's so hard to build those. I'm a pro at this, and I don't want to do it. It's just too hard. I would have to literally go get a job so that the 3 to 5 years that it takes me to build up to replace that job income, I could actually survive. And that's part of the problem with a lot of these things. This just ain't that hard. You're not gonna invite 10 people and not have a customer. It's just not happening. Industry-wide, 1 out of 10 people will join the business. If you ask them, would you at all be open to looking at a way of creating some extra income if it makes sense? You get 10 people to say yes, 1 will join your business, even with high-priced, terrible nutritional products. With this, it's much higher, because we're giving them what they're already paying for, guys. So, the short answer is it's just way easier. It just makes more sense. It's better for the customer. They stick. You can actually do it. Your people come in and they can actually do it. They don't have to learn. They don't have to spend 6 months a year learning how to do the business. It takes them an hour. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, there's a whole nother thing that could be talked about here. As a matter of fact, if I go to alancosens.com, here, let me shrink this down. And on alancosens.com, there's a post. It's called "What's Wrong with MLM?" I'm going to direct you there, this video, because there's a whole other series of criteria that are related to the business model itself. And just last night I had somebody, well, I've never been a big fan of MLM. Like, I don't understand where's this coming from? Like, what criteria are they using to come to that conclusion? In 21 years, I have yet to meet a single person who said something like that, who, 1, wasn't poor, and 2, had any idea what they were talking about. It's got tons of benefits over any other business model and none of the negatives. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, if the question about why is yours better is a question of business model, why your business model versus another, instead of opening a Subway, why would I want to do this? Like, there's a lot of reasons. Like, I don't have employees. I don't have HR issues and insurance to deal with. I don't wake up, $100,000 in debt every day because I have employees to pay. I mean, there's so many. I can work from wherever I want. My customers can be wherever in the world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I am. I can work whenever I want. I have no cap on income at all. No cap. That's just right off the top of my head a few reasons, but I delineate a bunch of them in this video here. That's alancosens.com, What's Wrong with MLM? If you don't understand the business model, you're one of these people who are like, well, I don't know about MLM. Well, I'm sorry that your broke friends and family kept telling you things that there's something wrong with that, but there's not. It's not that it's perfect, because nothing's perfect, but it's just a fact. It's just way better than everything else. It's not even a contest. So if what we just covered isn't enough for you, I would suggest you go to alancosens.com, look for the What's Wrong with MLM post, and go through that. Otherwise, let's get started, guys. You know, it's like some of you guys, you spend more time thinking. Like, you'll spend a week thinking. And in that same week, I would have started and made $1,000 already. Money loves speed. So what happens when you join, we'll call you up, we'll get you started, we'll plug you into the team training and resources, you'll learn the process, and then we'll just get started and get you started making some money. Cool? All right, thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully that was helpful for you. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye.